By the time Zara realized she'd sent that message to the wrong number, it was already too late. Her finger hovered over the phone screen, heart hammering as she stared at the words she'd just sent. The message was meant for Marcus, the architect she'd been flirting with for 3 weeks. Playful, confident. The kind of text that said she knew exactly what she wanted and wasn't afraid to ask for it. But the number wasn't saved. No, no, no. Zara's voice cracked in the silence of her tiny Busan apartment. She clicked on the contact. Unknown. The message sat there, delivered, read receipt off. No way to know who'd seen it. No way to take it back. She dropped the phone on her bed like it had burned her. Outside, the neon signs of Gwangali Beach flickered through her window, casting pink and blue shadows across the walls. It was 2 in the morning. She had to be up in 4 hours for her morning shift at the hotel, then her evening shift at the bar. It's fine, she told herself, packing the cramped space between her bed and dresser. Worst case, some random person thinks I'm insane. They'll delete it. Move on. I'll never hear from them again. She was wrong. Across the city, in a penthouse that overlooked the Gwangan Bridge, Min-Jun sat in his office reviewing security footage. The room was dark except for the glow of multiple monitors. His suit jacket hung on the back of his chair. His sleeves were rolled up. At 34, he'd built an empire that operated in the shadows of Busan's glittering surface. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expecting a report from one of his men. Instead, he found a message from a number he didn't recognize. He read it once, then again. His expression didn't change, but something in the air shifted. "Hyun-woo," he said quietly. A man emerged from the shadows near the door. "Yes, sir." "Trace this number. I want a name, address, employment history, and associates. I want it in an hour." Hyun-woo's eyes flicked to the phone. "Is there a threat?" "That's what we're going to find out." Min-Jun set the phone down and returned to his monitors, but his mind was elsewhere. The message wasn't threatening. It wasn't a code. It was personal, intimate, and completely out of place in his carefully controlled world, which meant either someone was playing a very dangerous game or someone had made a very stupid mistake. Either way, he needed to know who. 53 minutes later, Hyun-woo returned with a tablet. Her name is Zara Thompson, 26 years old, American, working in Busan on a visa. 2 jobs, clean record, no criminal associations. Lives alone in Gwangali, no immediate family in Korea. Min-Jun studied the photo on the screen. She was beautiful, dark skin glowing against the white of her hotel uniform, smile bright and unguarded. She looked nothing like the people in his world, nothing like someone who should have his private number. How did she get this number? We're still tracking that. The number she meant to text is registered to a Marcus Chen, architect, no connections to our operations. It appears she mistyped. Single-digit difference. Min-Jun's jaw tightened. A mistake. A random, careless mistake that had dropped this woman into his orbit. And if he'd received the message, others might have too. His enemies monitored everything. A single crack in his armor and they'd exploit it. I want surveillance on her building. If anyone approaches her, I want to know immediately. And her. Min-Jun stood, reaching for his jacket. I'll handle that personally. Sir, is that wise, if this is bait? Then walking into it will tell us who set the trap. Min-Jun's voice was quiet, controlled, the tone that made men twice his size step back. Have the car ready in 10 minutes. The knock came at 6 in the morning. Zara jerked awake, disoriented, her alarm still an hour away from going off. The knock came again, firm and deliberate. Not the neighbor, not a delivery. She grabbed her robe, tying it as she stumbled to the door. Who is it? Silence. Her hand hovered over the lock. Every instinct screamed at her not to open it. But this was Busan, not some crime drama. She was probably being paranoid. She opened the door a crack, chain still attached. 2 men in black suits stood in the hallway. Behind them, another man, taller, sharper. He wore his suit like armor, and when his eyes met hers, Zara forgot how to breathe. Zara Thompson. His voice was smooth, accented, dangerously polite. Who's asking? Someone who received a very interesting message last night. He held up his phone. Her words glowed on the screen. Zara's stomach dropped. Oh my God. May we come in? Absolutely not. She tried to close the door, but one of the suited men had already positioned his foot in the gap. Not aggressive, just immovable. The tall man raised his hand and the guard stepped back. I'm not here to hurt you, but we do need to talk, and this conversation shouldn't happen in your hallway. I don't know who you think you are, but my name is Min-Jun, and right now, I'm the only reason you're still safe. Something in his tone made her pause, not a threat, a warning. She studied his face, looking for deception, but found only cold certainty. Against every instinct, she unhooked the chain. The moment they entered, her apartment felt smaller. Min-Jun moved through the space like he owned it, his guards taking positions by the door and window. He picked up a photo from her shelf, her and her best friend at Hyundai Beach, smiling. You've been in Busan for 2 years, he said. How do you? You work at the Paradise Hotel during the day, Vinyl Underground at night. You send money home to your mother in Atlanta every month. You're studying Korean. You have no boyfriend, few friends, and you prefer to keep to yourself. Zara's hands clenched into fists. You had me investigated in 6 hours. In 1, he set the photo down and turned to face her. The message you sent me last night was a mistake. I believe that, but the problem is other people won't. What are you talking about? Who are you? Someone you don't want to know. And now, someone whose enemies might think you're important to me. The words hung in the air between them. Zara's mind raced, piecing together the suit, the guards, the cold efficiency. You're a criminal. I'm a businessman. That's not a denial. Min-Jun's lip twitched, almost a smile. No, it's not. She should scream, call the police, run. Instead, she found herself asking, what do you want from me? I want to know if you're working for someone. Working for? Are you insane? I sent a text to the wrong number. That's it. I was flirting with a guy I met at a coffee shop, and I fat-fingered the last digit. I didn't even know who you were until 30 seconds ago. He studied her, those dark eyes peeling back layers. You're telling the truth. Of course I'm telling the truth. Which means you're in danger. Zara laughed, sharp and brittle. From who? You. From everyone who monitors my communications looking for weaknesses. He moved closer, and she forced herself not to step back. I have rivals, people who would use anyone connected to me as leverage. That message created a connection. Then tell them it was a mistake. They won't believe it. They'll assume you're being protected, hidden. The more I deny it, the more valuable you become. His voice dropped. I've seen what these people do to send messages. You don't want to be that message. Zara's throat went dry. So what? You're here to kill me. Make sure I'm not a loose end. I'm here to offer you a choice. What choice? Min-Jun gestured to his guard, who produced a tablet. You can disappear. New city, new identity, new life. My people will handle everything. You'll be safe, but you'll never come back to Busan. Never contact anyone from your old life. Lord. Or you stay close to me. You become what they already think you are, someone under my protection, someone important enough that harming you would be a declaration of war. He paused. It's safer than running. If they think you're valuable to me, they'll watch you, but they won't touch you. Not without significant cost. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend. I want you to stay alive. The method is secondary. Zara's head spun. This couldn't be real. 24 hours ago, her biggest problem was choosing between sleep and studying for her Korean proficiency exam. Now she was standing in her apartment with a mobster offering her witness protection or proximity to danger. What if I say no to both? What if I just go to the police? The police can't protect you from the people I'm talking about, and involving them would only confirm that you're a liability worth eliminating. Min-Jun's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. I know this isn't fair. I know you did nothing wrong, but fair stopped mattering the moment that message was delivered. This is insane. Yes. I need time to think. You have 30 seconds. At her expression, he added, I'm not trying to pressure you, but there are cars on your street that weren't there yesterday, professional surveillance. They're waiting to see what I do. If I leave you here alone, they'll interpret that as abandonment. You'll be taken within hours. Zara's knees felt weak. She sat on the edge of her bed, head in her hands. Every option was impossible. Disappear and lose everything she'd built in Busan. Stay and pretend to be involved with a criminal. Both paths led away from the life she knew. But one path let her stay herself. If I agree to stay close to you, what does that actually mean? It means you move into a secure location. It means you're seen with me in public enough to establish the relationship as credible. It means you trust me to keep you safe until the current threats are neutralized. And then you go back to your life. You're asking me to trust you, but I don't even know you. Min-Jun crouched in front of her, bringing himself to eye level. Up close, she could see the faint scar along his jaw, the exhaustion he carried like a second skin. You're right not to trust me. I've done things that would horrify you, but I don't hurt innocent people and I don't let my mistakes cost others their lives. That message was sent to my number. That makes this my responsibility. Zara met his gaze, searching for the lie. She'd spent 2 years in Busan reading people, learning to spot the ones who saw her as exotic, temporary, useful. This man looked at her like she was a problem to solve, but also like the problem mattered. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay close. But the second I think you're lying to me, the second I think I'm in more danger with you than without you, I'm gone. Min-Jun stood, extending his hand. Agreed. She took it. His grip was firm, warm, and the moment their palms touched, Zara felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Within 2 hours, Zara's life had been packed into 3 suitcases. Min-Jun's men moved through her apartment with clinical efficiency, taking clothes, documents, her laptop, and the few personal items she couldn't leave behind. She watched from the doorway, arms crossed, feeling like a ghost in her own life. Your landlord will be told you had a family emergency, Hyun-woo said, appearing beside her. Rent will be paid through the end of your lease. When this is over, everything will be waiting for you. When this is over, Zara repeated, how long are we talking? Depends on how quickly we identify the threats and eliminate them. Eliminate? She looked at him sharply. You mean kill? Hyun-woo's expression remained neutral. I mean neutralize. Sometimes that's arrest. Sometimes deportation. Sometimes, he shrugged, sometimes it's permanent. Zara's stomach turned. This was real. She'd agreed to enter a world where people were eliminated, where threats were neutralized, where violence was a tool used with the same casualness other people use spreadsheets. Min-Jun emerged from her bedroom, her passport in his hand. We need to go. The surveillance team is getting restless. The car was a black sedan with tinted windows, the kind that screamed money and danger in equal measure. Zara slid into the backseat, Min-Jun beside her, the space between them carefully maintained. The guards took a separate vehicle. As they pulled away from her building, she watched Gwangali disappear in the rearview mirror. Where are we going? Hyundi, I have a property there that's more secure. Min-Jun typed something on his phone, his fingers moving with practiced speed. You'll have your own room, your own space. There's a gym, a library, and a terrace. You won't be locked in. Just trapped. He glanced at her. Yes. The honesty surprised her. Most people would have dressed it up, made promises about freedom and normalcy. Min-Jun simply acknowledged the cage. They drove in silence through morning traffic, past the fish markets and coffee shops where Zara had built her routine. She thought about the hotel where she was supposed to start her shift in 30 minutes. Her manager would be furious. Her coworkers would gossip. And Marcus, the architect with the kind smile, would think she'd ghosted him. "I need to call my jobs," she said. "Tell them something." "Already handled. You've been granted emergency leave from both. Medical reasons, privacy requested. You can't just make decisions for me. I can if those decisions keep you alive." Min-Jun's voice was calm, infuriatingly reasonable. "Every call you make can be traced. Every conversation can be monitored. Until we know who's watching and why, you're silent." Zara bit back her response. He was right, and she hated it. She hated that some stupid mistake had stolen her autonomy. She hated that this stranger now controlled her life. Most of all, she hated that part of her was curious about him. The Hyundai property was a penthouse in a building that looked like it had been carved from glass and steel. The elevator required a key card and a fingerprint. When the doors opened directly into the apartment, Zara forgot to breathe. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the beach. The ocean stretched endless in blue morning light dancing across the waves. The space was minimalist, all clean lines and muted colors, but somehow warm. Books lined one wall. Art, real art, hung on another. "Your room is on the left," Min-Jun said, shrugging out of his jacket. Underneath, his shirt was crisp white, fitted perfectly to his frame. "I'm on the right. Hyun-woo and another guard will be here at all times, rotating shifts. There's food in the kitchen. If you need anything, ask." Zara walked to the windows, pressing her palm against the glass. "Do you live here?" "Sometimes. I have several properties." "Must be nice." "It's strategic." He moved to the kitchen, pulling out a bottle of water. "Would you like something? Coffee? Tea?" "Answers?" She turned to face him. "You said people monitor your communications. Why? Who are you fighting with?" Min-Jun considered her for a long moment, as if deciding how much truth she could handle. "I control distribution networks in Busan. Imports, exports, logistics. Some of it's legal, most of it isn't. That makes me valuable to some people and a threat to others." "Distribution of what? Do you really want to know?" Zara thought about it. Knowing made her complicit, aware, guilty by association. Not knowing let her maintain some distance from whatever darkness funded this view. "No," she admitted. "I don't." "Smart." He opened the water, taking a long drink. For the first time, she saw a crack in his composure. He looked tired. "There's a faction in Osaka that's been trying to expand into Busan for 2 years. I've blocked them at every turn. They're getting desperate, which makes them dangerous." "And you think they saw that message and decided I was leverage?" "I know they did. We intercepted communications an hour ago. They're planning surveillance, possibly an extraction." He set the bottle down. "That's why you're here. That's why you can't leave." The reality of it settled over her like a weight. People were planning to kidnap her, to use her against this man she'd never met until this morning, because she'd sent a flirty text to the wrong number. "I want to call my mom," Zara said quietly. "Just to tell her I'm okay. She'll worry if she doesn't hear from me." "Write her an email, keep it vague. We'll send it through an encrypted server." Min-Jun pulled out his phone. "I'll have Hyun-woo set it up." "You don't trust me with my own email." "I don't trust anyone who might be monitoring your email to not use it to find you." Zara wanted to argue, but exhaustion was creeping in. She'd been awake for hours, adrenaline the only thing keeping her upright. "I need to sleep." "Your room has blackout curtains. Take as much time as you need." She started toward the hallway, then paused. "Min-Jun, why did you come to my apartment yourself? You could have sent your men." He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was softer. "Because if someone was playing a game with your life, I wanted to look them in the eye. And if it was truly a mistake, you deserve to hear the truth from me, not from men who'd scare you into compliance. That's unexpectedly decent. Don't mistake efficiency for decency. I'm protecting an asset. Is that what I am? An asset? Min-Jun met her gaze and something unreadable passed through his expression. That's what you need to be, for now. Zara's room was larger than her entire apartment. The bed was massive, covered in white linens that looked like clouds. She collapsed onto it fully clothed, expecting to lie awake replaying the morning's insanity. Instead, she fell asleep in minutes. She woke to the smell of food. The sun had shifted, late afternoon light slanting through the windows. She'd slept for 7 hours. Padding out to the main room in her socks, she found Min-Jun at the dining table, papers spread before him, a plate of untouched food at his elbow. "You're awake," he said without looking up. "There's more in the kitchen, help yourself." Zara found containers of Korean dishes, still warm. Someone had ordered from multiple restaurants. She filled a plate with bibimbap and japchae, her stomach reminding her she hadn't eaten since yesterday. She sat across from Min-Jun, watching him work. "Do you ever stop?" she asked. "Stop what?" "Working, thinking, controlling every variable." He glanced up, pen still in hand. "No." "That sounds exhausting." "It's necessary." He set the pen down, finally acknowledging her fully. "How are you feeling?" "Like I'm in a very expensive prison with an ocean view." She mixed her bibimbap, the colors blending. Also confused and angry and scared, but mostly confused. "That's reasonable." "Is this normal for you? Kidnapping random women because they texted you by accident?" "You're the first." A hint of something, maybe amusement, touched his lips. "And you're not kidnapped. You can leave any time." "You said I'd be dead in hours." "I said you'd be taken. I didn't specify the outcome." Zara pointed her chopsticks at him. "That's a distinction without a difference." "Perhaps." Min-Jun leaned back, studying her. "You're handling this better than I expected." "What did you expect? Tears, begging?" "Most people would be hysterical." "I'm not most people." She took a bite, letting the flavors ground her. "I moved to a country where I barely spoke the language with $800 and a dream. I've dealt with visa issues, housing discrimination, and men who thought foreign meant easy. This is terrifying, but I've been terrified before." Something shifted in Min-Jun's expression, a crack in the armor. "That message you sent, it was confident, bold. Not many people speak to me that way." Zara felt heat creep up her neck. "Yeah, well, it wasn't meant for you." "What would you have done if he'd responded?" "Marcus," she shrugged. "Probably had a nice date, maybe more. I liked him." Past tense. Hard to think about dadding when I'm in witness protection from the mob. I'm not the mob. Fine, organized crime, better. Marginally, Min-Jun's phone buzzed. He read the message, his jaw tightening. "We have movement. 2 cars circling your old building. They're looking for you." Zara's appetite vanished. Already. "They're motivated. You represent an opening they haven't had before." He stood, moving to the windows. "Hyun-woo is coordinating counter-surveillance. We'll know who they send and where they're based by tonight." "And then what?" "Then I send a message that touching you means war." The casual way he said it, like he was discussing dinner plans, made Zara's skin prickle. "Have you killed people?" Min-Jun turned, backlit by the ocean. "Yes." "How many?" "Does the number matter?" "It might." "Then the answer is enough to know that I'm capable of it and few enough to know that I don't do it lightly." He crossed his arms. "I'm not a good man, Zara. Don't romanticize this situation. I'm keeping you safe because it serves my interests. When those interests change, so will our arrangement." "Why tell me that? Why not let me think you're some kind of complicated hero?" "Because heroes get people killed, and I'd prefer you stay alive." They stood in the fading light, the space between them charged with unspoken things. Zara should hate him. She should be planning her escape. Instead, she found herself wanting to understand him. "What do I do now?" she asked. "Just sit here and wait?" "For today, yes. Tomorrow, we'll need to be seen together. Establish the relationship publicly. Make it clear that you're under my protection." "How do we do that?" "There's a charity gala tomorrow night. Everyone who matters in Busan will be there, including people who need to see that you're important to me." Zara laughed sharp. "I don't even have clothes for a gala." "That's being handled. Someone will bring options in the morning." Min-Jun checked his watch. "I have a meeting tonight. Hyun-woo will be here with you. Don't answer the door for anyone else." "Where are you going?" "To remind certain people why crossing me is a bad idea." He left without another word, the door clicking shut behind him with a finality that echoed through the empty space. Zara returned to her food, but it tasted like ash. She was alone in a gilded cage, waiting for a man who killed people to decide her fate. She moved to the bookshelf, running her fingers along the spines. Philosophy, history, classic literature, all in Korean, some in English. She pulled out a worn copy of The Stranger by Camus, the pages soft from repeated reading. There were notes in the margins, written in precise handwriting, Min-Jun's handwriting. The notes were in Korean, but she recognized enough characters to understand fragments. Questions about morality, observations about choice and consequence. The handwriting of someone who thought deeply about the things they did. "He reads Camus," she muttered to herself, because of course the crime lord is existential. Hyun-woo appeared from wherever guards materialized from. "Miss Thompson, is there anything you need?" "Yeah, an explanation for how my life became a crime thriller in 12 hours. His expression didn't change. "I'm afraid I can't help with that." "Can you tell me about him, Min-Jun?" "That's not my place." "Come on, give me something. I'm trusting him with my life. I should know who he is." Hyun-woo considered this, then gestured to the couch. They sat, the evening stretching between them. Min-Jun took over his father's operations 8 years ago when he was 26. His father was brutal, ruled through fear. Min-Jun is different, calculated, strategic. He consolidated power not through violence but through intelligence. "So he's the nice crime boss." "I didn't say that. He's done what's necessary to survive, but he has rules. No human trafficking, no harm to uninvolved civilians, no children ever." Hyun-woo's voice carried a weight that suggested these rules mattered. "Some of the old guard think he's weak for having boundaries. They're wrong." "What happened to them?" "They're not old guard anymore." Zara absorbed this. A crime boss with a conscience, or at least a code. It didn't make him good, but it made him something other than a monster. "Why is he helping me, really?" "Because you're his responsibility now, and Min-Jun takes his responsibilities seriously." Hyun-woo stood. "Get some rest, Miss Thompson. Tomorrow will be demanding." That night Zara lay in the enormous bed, staring at the ceiling. Somewhere in Busan, Min-Jun was doing things she didn't want to imagine. Somewhere else people were planning to take her, use her, possibly kill her. And here she was, suspended between two forms of danger belonging to neither world. She thought about the message she'd sent, about how one moment of confidence, one flirtatious impulse had rewritten her entire existence. If she could go back, would she be more careful? Would she double-check the number? Probably not. Zara had never been good at careful. Morning arrived with a knock and a woman's voice. "Miss Thompson, I have your wardrobe selections." Zara opened the door to find an elegant Korean woman in her 50s, arms full of garment bags. Behind her, 2 assistants wheeled in racks of dresses, shoes, and accessories. The woman's eyes swept over Zara with professional assessment. "I'm Mrs. Kang. Mr. Min has asked me to prepare you for this evening." Her English was perfect, accent British. We have several options. The event is formal, high profile. You'll need to look like you belong. I'm not sure I do belong, Zara muttered, but she let them in. For the next 3 hours, Zara was transformed. Mrs. Kang had brought 8 dresses, each more stunning than the last. They settled on a deep emerald silk that hugged her curves and made her skin glow. The shoes were Louboutin, red soles winking with each step. Jewelry was kept simple, a single diamond pendant that probably cost more than her yearly salary. You have excellent bone structure, Mrs. Kang said, applying makeup with the precision of a surgeon. And your confidence is natural. That's rare. Most women Mr. Min associates with are performing confidence. You simply have it. Most women he associates with. Zara met her eyes in the mirror. How many has there been? Mrs. Kang smiled, secretive. In the 8 years I've worked for him, none like you. The statement hung in the air, loaded with implications Zara wasn't ready to examine. When Mrs. Kang finished, Zara barely recognized herself. She looked expensive, untouchable, like someone who belonged on the arm of a powerful man. He won't be able to look away, Mrs. Kang said, packing her supplies, which is precisely the point. Min-Jun returned at 4, showered and changed into a tailored black suit that made him look like he'd stepped out of a magazine. He stopped when he saw Zara, something flickering across his face before the mask returned. You clean up well, he said. So do you. They stood in the afternoon light, 2 people playing dress-up in each other's dangerous lives. Min-Jun moved closer, adjusting her necklace with surprising gentleness. His fingers brushed her collarbone and Zara's breath caught. At the gala you stay within arm's reach of me at all times, he said quietly. You smile. You appear comfortable. If anyone asks how we met, we keep it vague. A mutual acquaintance. You don't specify. What if they push? They won't, not with me standing there. His hand dropped, but he remained close. There will be people there who want to see weakness. Any sign that this relationship is fake, any hesitation, and they'll exploit it. So we need to sell it. Completely. Zara met his gaze. How far are we selling it? As far as necessary, but I won't touch you without warning, and I won't ask you to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. His voice lowered. Despite what you might think, I'm not a monster. I'm starting to figure that out. Something passed between them, a recognition that terrified Zara more than the threats or the danger. This man was supposed to be her captor, her unwanted protector. He wasn't supposed to look at her like she mattered. The gala was held at the Paradise Hotel, the same place Zara had worked just yesterday. Walking through the lobby on Min-Jun's arm felt surreal. Her former coworkers worked the event, faces professional, not recognizing her in her transformation. She saw her manager near the ballroom entrance and instinctively moved closer to Min-Jun. His hand settled on the small of her back, warm and steadying. Relax, he murmured. You belong here. The ballroom was magnificent, crystal chandeliers casting light across hundreds of guests in designer clothes. Waiters circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. A string quartet played near the windows. This was money, real money, the kind that bought influence and silence in equal measure. Eyes turned as they entered. Conversations paused. Min-Jun's presence commanded attention, and Zara on his arm became part of that command. She felt the weight of scrutiny, the calculations happening behind polite smiles. Mr. Min, a voice called. An older Korean man approached, expensive suit, calculating eyes. What a surprise to see you, and with such lovely company. Mr. Park. Min-Jun's voice was cordial, empty. Allow me to introduce Zara. Zara, this is Mr. Park. He owns several shipping companies. Among other things, Park said, eyes sliding over Zara like she was inventory. It's unusual for you to bring a date. Min-Jun, she must be quite special. She is. American, Park switched to English. Your Korean must be excellent to have caught his attention. Min-Jun values intelligence above all else. Zara smiled, channeling every ounce of confidence she possessed. I'm still learning, but Min-Jun is a patient teacher. Park's smile sharpened. I'm sure he is. Tell me, how did you two meet? Through friends, Min-Jun interjected smoothly. Speaking of which, I see Kim across the room. We should pay our respects. Enjoy your evening, Park. He guided Zara away, his hand still on her back. That was good, he said quietly. But he's going to dig. Park works with the Osaka faction. He was testing us. Did we pass? For now. They moved through the crowd, Min-Jun introducing her to business associates, city officials, people whose smiles didn't reach their eyes. Zara played her part, laughing at appropriate moments, touching Min-Jun's arm with practiced ease. To anyone watching, they looked like a real couple. But it was exhausting. An hour in, Zara excused herself to the restroom. She needed a moment away from the performance, from the weight of so many eyes. The bathroom was empty, marble and gold, quiet. She stood at the sink, hands braced against the counter, breathing. The door opened. A woman entered, younger than Zara, Korean, beautiful in a cold way. She checked her lipstick in the mirror, then spoke without looking at Zara. You're the American he brought. That's me. I'm Jai-woo. I've known Min-Jun for 5 years. She turned, assessing Zara with open hostility. Whatever you think this is, it's not. He doesn't do relationships. He does strategy. You're a chess piece. Zara straightened, meeting her gaze. And you're bitter because you wanted to be more than a piece. Jai-woo's expression hardened. I'm trying to help you. Min-Jun uses people. When he's done, he discards them. I've seen it happen. Thanks for the warning. Zara moved toward the door. But I can take care of myself. Can you? Jai-woo's voice followed her. Because the people watching you right now, they eat girls like you for breakfast. Zara returned to the ballroom, finding Min-Jun exactly where she'd left him. He saw her face and frowned. What happened? Someone named Jai-woo decided to give me a reality check. His jaw tightened. What did she say? That you use people. That I'm strategy, not substance. Zara grabbed a champagne flute from a passing waiter, downing half of it. She's not wrong, is she? Min-Jun guided her to a quieter corner, away from listening ears. Jai-woo was useful once. She's not anymore, and she's angry about it. That's not an answer. Yes, he said flatly. She's right. You are strategy. I told you that from the beginning. I'm not pretending this is something it's not. The honesty stung more than a lie would have. Zara set down her glass. At least you're consistent. Zara. Don't, she held up her hand. I agreed to this. I knew what it was. I just forgot for a minute. They stood in tense silence, the gala swirling around them. Then Min-Jun's phone buzzed. He checked it, expression darkening. We need to leave, now. What's wrong? Hyun-woo just confirmed 3 members of the Osaka faction entered the hotel. They're not here for the charity auction. He took her hand, grip firm. Stay close to me. Don't let go. Fear spiked through Zara's champagne haze. They moved through the crowd toward the exit, Min-Jun's guards materializing around them. The ballroom doors opened, and there they were. 3 men in suits, eyes locked on Zara. Min-Jun positioned himself between her and them. Gentlemen, this is a private event. The lead man smiled, cold. We're just here to meet your lovely companion. Word travels fast in our community. And my response travels faster. She's off limits. Is she? The man's gaze slid to Zara. She doesn't look like your usual type. Makes a man wonder if she's really worth protecting. Min-Jun's voice dropped to something dangerous. Wonder somewhere else. The tension was a living thing, violence coiled and ready to strike. Zara's heart hammered. One wrong move, one wrong word, and this elegant ballroom would become a battlefield. Then hotel security appeared, summoned by Min-Jun's guards. The Osaka men stepped back, hands raised in mock surrender. Another time, the leader said. We're very curious about her. They left and Zara finally breathed. Min-Jun's hand was still in hers, grip almost painful. He led her out a side entrance to where their car waited. Once inside, he rounded on her. Are you all right? I'm fine, scared but fine. They were sending a message. They wanted you to know they can get close. His phone was already out, typing rapid instructions. We're increasing security. You don't leave the penthouse without me. Min-Jun, this is crazy. I can't live like this. You can and you will until they're handled. He looked at her, really looked, and some of the hardness cracked. I know this isn't what you signed up for, but they made their move tonight, which means we can make ours. What are you going to do? What I should have done from the beginning. I'm going to make it very clear that touching you means touching me. He reached out, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was gentle, at odds with everything else. I won't let them hurt you. Why? Zara's voice broke. Why does it matter so much? You said I'm strategy. Min-Jun's hand lingered near her face. Because strategy doesn't look at me the way you do. Strategy doesn't challenge me. Strategy doesn't make me question things I've accepted for years. He dropped his hand. You're supposed to be a chess piece, but you keep refusing to move like one. The car pulled up to the penthouse. They rode the elevator in charged silence. Once inside, Min-Jun poured them both whiskey neat. Zara took hers, letting the burn ground her. That woman, Jai-woo, she said you discard people when you're done with them, Zara said. Is that true? Yes. Will you discard me? Min-Jun stared into his glass. I don't know. I've never met anyone I wasn't sure I could discard before. It was the most honest thing he'd said to her. Zara set down her drink and moved closer. I'm scared, not just of them, of this, of you. You should be. But I'm also tired of pretending. We've been dancing around something since the moment you walked into my apartment. She stopped inches from him. If I'm going to be in danger anyway, if I'm going to be strategy and bait and a chess piece, then I want one thing that's real. Zara, you don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. Min-Jun's control wavered. She saw it in the way his hand tightened on his glass, the way his breathing changed. If we cross this line, there's no going back. You stop being strategy and become something I can't afford to have. Maybe that's exactly what we both need. He set down his glass and cupped her face in both hands, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. Tell me to stop. No. He kissed her like he'd been starving for it, all the carefully maintained distance collapsing in an instant. Zara responded with equal hunger, hands fisting in his jacket. This wasn't gentle. It was desperate, angry, real. All the fear and tension of the past 2 days channeled into something that felt like survival. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Min-Jun rested his forehead against hers. This complicates everything. Good, I hate simple. He laughed, the sound raw and unexpected. What am I going to do with you? Keep me alive. Everything else we'll figure out. They stayed like that, wrapped in each other, the ocean dark beyond the windows. Zara knew this was dangerous. Knew falling for a man like Min-Jun meant falling into a world she didn't understand, but she'd never been good at safe choices. The next morning, everything changed. Zara woke to shouting. She pulled on clothes and rushed to the main room, finding Min-Jun on the phone, Hyun-woo beside him with a tablet. Both men looked grim. What happened? Zara asked. Min-Jun ended his call. The Osaka faction made their move. They took out one of my warehouses last night. 3 of my men are in the hospital. Oh my God. It's a declaration of war. They're not being subtle anymore. He turned to Hyun-woo. Mobilize everyone. I want their locations, their safe houses, their entire network mapped by tonight. Sir, this level of escalation. I know what it means. Min-Jun's voice was ice. Do it. Hyun-woo left. Min-Jun paced, energy coiled and dangerous. Zara had never seen him like this, the careful control replaced by something raw. "This is because of me," she said quietly. "This is because they're ambitious and stupid." He stopped looking at her. "But yes, you accelerated their timeline. They see you as my weakness." "Am I?" The question hung between them. Min-Jun crossed to her, taking her hands. "I've spent 8 years building an empire where emotions are liabilities, where caring about someone means giving enemies a target." His grip tightened. "You're the first thing I've cared about in so long I'd forgotten what it felt like." Zara's throat tightened. "What do we do?" "I end this today." He released her hands. "I'm meeting with the heads of the other families. We're going to discuss the Osaka problem and come to a resolution." "Is that safe?" "No, but it's necessary." He moved toward his room. "Stay here with the guards. Don't open the door for anyone. I'll be back by tonight." "Min-Jun, wait." Zara followed him. "Last night what we did was real." He turned, catching her face in his hands again. "More real than anything in my life for a very long time, which is why I need to end this threat, because I refuse to let them use you against me." He kissed her softer this time, like a promise. Then he was gone, Hyun-woo and the guards following. Zara stood alone in the silent penthouse, fear crawling up her spine. The hours dragged. She tried to read, to eat, to distract herself. Nothing worked. She kept imagining Min-Jun in danger, kept seeing the cold violence in those Osaka men's eyes. By evening, she was packing the windows, watching the sun set over Hyundai Beach. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "He can't protect you forever. When he fails, we'll be waiting." Zara's hands shook. She showed the guard, who immediately called someone. Within minutes, Hyun-woo was on the phone, voice tight. "Miss Thompson, stay away from the windows. We're increasing perimeter security." "Where's Min-Jun? Is he safe?" "The meeting is still ongoing. He's aware of the situation." "That's not an answer." Hyun-woo's silence confirmed her fears. Something had gone wrong. Zara's chest tightened. She'd let herself care about him, this dangerous man who'd crashed into her life. And now he was somewhere facing threats she couldn't even imagine. "I want to help," she said. "You are helping. By staying safe, you're removing their leverage." "That's not enough." "Miss Thompson." The line went dead. The lights in the penthouse flickered, then died. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in eerie red. The guard moved to the door, hand on his weapon. "What's happening?" Zara whispered. Building power failure could be coincidence. His radio crackled. "Or not, stay behind me." The door exploded inward. Armed men poured in, moving with military precision. The guard fired, dropping one, but was overwhelmed in seconds. Zara ran for Min-Jun's room, slamming the door, looking for anything to defend herself with. She found his safe, hidden behind a painting. The door was open, likely from his rushed departure. Inside, a gun. She'd never held one before, but fear made her hands steady. The bedroom door kicked open. 2 men entered. Zara raised the gun. "Don't move." They froze, surprised, then one smiled. "You won't shoot." "Try me." They moved, she fired. The shot went wide, but the sound was deafening. It bought her seconds, enough to dodge past them, running for the terrace. Stupid plan, 20 floors up, nowhere to go. Hands grabbed her from behind. She fought, screaming, kicking. A cloth covered her mouth, chemical smell burning her nose. The world tilted, dimmed. Her last thought before darkness took her was of Min-Jun's face, the way he'd looked at her that morning, like she mattered, like she was worth saving. Zara woke to pain, her head throbbed, her wrists were bound. She was in a warehouse, industrial, abandoned. 3 men watched her, including the one from the gala. "Finally awake," he said. "Good, we were getting bored." "Where's Min-Jun?" Her voice was raw. "Oh, he knows where you are. We sent him proof of life an hour ago." The man crouched in front of her. The question is whether he values you enough to trade what we want. And what's that? Busan, his territory, his operations, everything. All for one American girl who sent him a naughty text. He laughed. Quite the romantic gesture if he agrees. Zara's mind raced. Min-Jun wouldn't trade his empire. Couldn't. It would show weakness, invite more attacks. She was a chess piece, strategy expendable. Except he'd said she wasn't. He'd said she was real. He won't trade, she said. Then you're worthless to us. But I'm not worthless to him, which means killing me starts a war you can't win. Zara forced confidence into her voice. You made a mistake taking me. Now you're trapped. The man's smile faded. His phone rang. He answered, listened, his face darkening. I understand. He hung up. Seems your boyfriend is less reasonable than we hoped. He's rejected our terms and is currently killing his way through our people to find you. Terror and hope warred in Zara's chest. I told you. Yes, you did. He drew his gun. Which means you're a liability we need to eliminate before he arrives. The warehouse door exploded. Gunfire erupted. Min-Jun came through the smoke like something from a nightmare, Hyun-woo and his men behind him. It was brutal, efficient, terrifying. The Osaka men didn't stand a chance. When the shooting stopped, Min-Jun was there, cutting Zara's bonds, checking her for injuries. His hands shook. Are you hurt? I'm okay, scared but okay. He pulled her against him, holding on like she might disappear. I thought I'd lost you. When they sent that photo, his voice broke. You came for me. Of course I came for you. He pulled back, looking at her with something raw and unguarded. You're not strategy anymore, Zara. You haven't been since that first morning. Maybe not even then. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Min-Jun cursed. We need to go. This is going to be complicated to clean up. They made it back to the penthouse as dawn broke. Hyun-woo confirmed the Osaka faction's leadership had been arrested, their operations dismantled. The threat was over. Zara was safe. She stood at the windows, watching the sun rise over the ocean, Min-Jun beside her. They'd survived. Against impossible odds, they'd survived. What happens now? She asked. Now you decide. You can return to your life, your apartment, your jobs. I'll make sure you're protected, but from a distance. Or, he hesitated. Lord. Or you stay, not as strategy, not as protection, as someone I can't imagine losing again. Zara thought about her tiny apartment, her 2 jobs, the simple life she'd built. It was safe, predictable, hers, but it was also lonely. She thought about Min-Jun, this complicated, dangerous, surprisingly gentle man who'd read Camus and fought a war to save her. He'd never be safe. Life with him would be chaos. But it would never be lonely. I sent a text to the wrong number, she said quietly. Best mistake I ever made. Min-Jun's hand found hers, fingers intertwining. For both of us. They stood together, watching the city wake up. 2 people who'd collided by accident and chosen each other on purpose. It wasn't the ending Zara had imagined when she'd hit send on that message. It was better. So if you enjoyed this crazy story, hit that subscribe button because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done if you sent that text. Would you run or stay? And smash that like button if your team Min-Jun this story isn't over, and neither are we. I'll see you in the next one. The ocean stretched endless before them, full of possibility and danger and second chances. Zara had come to Busan looking for adventure. She'd found something better. She'd found someone worth staying for.